another while with me, laugh and drink and say there was something, but you say there was nothing, but you say it with a smile.
Whoa! Hey everyone, welcome to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Cast. I'm your host, Coach V, and I'm joined by my co-hosts and buddies, Dr. Dry and Peepaw. Hey. All right, week 10 is done. Week 11 is on the way. Fantasy playoffs are creeping in. You're starting to check your seeding. You're starting to check where your points for are compared to that shitty guy who's like 9-1. You're like, oh my god. So, how was y'all's week of fantasy?
Mixed emotions on that one. I tried to grow a pair this week and not make it an aggressive decision. And I'm like, all right, we're gonna start Daniel Jones against the Panthers defense instead of CJ Stroud against a defense in Detroit that has been good at the run but not as great against the pass. So we're taking a leap of faith here with Daniel Jones. I was like, after that game started, we're in the first half and they were talking at halftime about benching Daniel Jones, and I'm like, please don't. I started him. I made an aggressive decision. Don't penalize me for this. He came out through some more, questionable passes, and I was like, all right, this is officially the worst decision I've ever made, so we're not going to do this again. But CJ Stroud started, made some really good passes, and I'm like, I definitely made the wrong choice. Come to find out, I checked later because I was so terrified of my decision. They ended up scoring the exact same points in my league that I decided to switch him. So I was like, saved. That was the best case scenario for me. I still lost at the end of the day, so it doesn't really matter. But that was good. Not great, I guess. Not good either. It was pretty bad, actually, if we're being really honest here. So that was my questionable decision. The other questionable decision was starting in a super flex league, CJ Stroud and Jared Goff. We combined for 7 interceptions together, so that's like a round of applause for itself. So kudos to you guys. That's like negative 14 off the bat just to start the week. So great, and I lost that league as well thanks to that. So that's great as well. The only league I won was the league I'm in with you guys in. So, 1 for 3. We can't have it all.
Nighthawk. Yeah, I feel like there's a Nighthawk in every league that I'm in. Just someone's named Nighthawk. But random observation. But I went 4-2 this week. Dominated a couple of leagues. I even had a great. Well, it helps if you have Jamar Chase. But what that did for me in the cheese, I have climbed out of the depths of shit, and I am no longer in 10th place. The 3 guys in front of me all lost. I made up the surplus of 80 points, and I am now a playoff team in the cheese, 10th to 6th. And so that's exciting. I've moved on to 9-1 in Ben's Dynasty League, and then in Fantasy Junkies, the league we're all in, that Dynasty League, I am 4-6 and looking like we're about to lose the rest of the games. We look pretty bad. So, so that's exciting. But yeah, other than that, won in the church league. So, God's a fan of my team, and that goes a long way. Overall, I thought it was a fun week on my end. I didn't really have too many like terrible outings or anything like that. So no complaints here. What about you, Vince?
Good week, 2-0. We're rolling, and that was with both teams having Nico Collins and having to like drop him last minute and pick someone up. It ended up not mattering, I don't think, because I had enough lead that I think I could have just took the 0 and been fine. But I was also against Tyreek Hill in both leagues.
Oh, you beat me, yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, damn, I've never rooted harder against Tyreek Hill. Like, it's like the same player that I needed to beat. And, he got the one touch, but he didn't get anything else. So we were good. So, yeah, just rolling. I've never ever been confident in my fantasy teams. The first time I've ever been confident in my fantasy team. So it's a weird feeling to be like having good teams and you can't do any wrong. So yeah. Have you beat me yet this year, Doctor Dry?
I haven't beat either of you guys all year. I look really bad. It's the and I'm bad in the league that we're in together. So
Yeah.
it's like I look like a guy who's only combined for 7 wins, but I keep, lying to you guys about these 9-1, 8-2 teams that I have. so, so yeah, I mean but I do have like a big matchup in my Sportsaholic Dynasty League this week. I think I'm against the number one guy, and he's 9-1, but I'm that one. So, so we're about to see what happens this week too. So, anyway, I think I can hang with him. We're 8-2. We're not a bad team. So that's the one where they fucked around and let me get Jefferson, Gibbs, and Bijan in a startup draft. And it's like a 12 team or something. So anyway, more power to me. so so yeah, big week this week. So looking forward to that.
Okay. So let's give out some Week 10 awards. Let's get mad. And we have our Hillshire Farms cheese and cracker gift basket of disappointment. And honestly, I think we could probably say it's that time of year where this gift basket is top of mind. People are buying this gift basket. People are receiving this gift basket. So if you spent since August thinking, man, what is this Hillshire Farm cheese and cracker gift basket of disappointment? You know what it is because you're about to get one in a month or so. So, anyways, or look for it at your local Walmart. It's probably set up right by the entrance. That way, you can grab this very quickly for the person you don't love and give it to them for a holiday gift. So, yeah. So, who disappointed you all this week?
But the best part is that they're vac sealed, so they have an extremely long shelf life. So they could have been there from last year. You would never know.
Never know.
The
And it's so sketch because the cheese. It's like this is cheese. How is this on the shelf for years?
cheese be doing cheese things. So hey, we're here for it though. My Hillshire Farm, I still think he deserves like the summer sausage in the bunch. He ain't no cheese. Justin Jefferson. We're talking a Minnesota team that played against Jacksonville, who is first or second worst in allowing the most points to opposing quarterbacks. So I had some pretty high hopes for Jefferson this week to rack up some points on Jacksonville, but um, out for 93% of the snaps, currently ranked wide receiver 32 for this past week. 9 targets, so it was a decent number there, but with only 5 receptions and 48 yards on those 5 receptions. So I believe a good bit of the game he's double or triple team probably most of the afternoon, so that didn't help much for his stats. But overall, obviously, a guy of his caliber getting under 10 points isn't the best outing. So would hope for more from him this week. But you win some and lose some.
I have another first rounder on this Hillshire list. He's getting the gift basket. Literally just couldn't do what he used to. And, whenever you're going against one of your co-hosts in a league and you just need a simple 18, 19 points and you don't get it, Tyreek Hill is going to end up on the Hillshire list of disappointment. And there's a lot of reason to be disappointed, a lot of reason for concern here. He has that wrist ligament injury, playing through it. They are, what are they, 4-6 now, I think. So, they're on that cusp of could make playoffs, could completely bomb. And if they start losing, all of a sudden that wrist is gonna like, you know what? Maybe I should get surgery on this. I'm kind of having a shitty year. Um, so definitely some concern there of not only for re-injury, but for just how he manages it and if he decides to call it quits. Because he's still fast AF. Like if they as long as they continue to get him the ball, he should be very useful for fantasy. You're not benching the guy, but you're a little concerned there. And then another concern, and it's a very strange concern, but I'm going to put a kicker on here for the first time. Chris Bosgod Boswell. And here's why I'm concerned. Nothing he did. As far as I know, he made everything. He only scored 4 points, but Russell Wilson is cooking, and they're not settling for field goals anymore. That offense is doing a lot better. And I'm used to the Bosgod getting, 5 to 8 field goals a game, and now he's only kicking extra points because they're no longer stalling in the red zone. So a little concerned with Chris Boswell. Hopefully it's just a fluke, and that offense goes back to its midways, and he can get back on track.
Low key, do you think if Russ were to watch this, he would walk into Walmart and get himself one of them boxes and then post game give it to Chris Boswell and say, "Hey man, I got you something for Christmas," and he would have no idea what it's about, but Russ be like, "FQF man,
Yeah,
I know what this is about."
well, we have been in contact with Russell Wilson this year, so I believe you reached out to him on
I would
Twitter or
use that.
something, didn't you?
I would use reached out very loosely, but yes,
Yeah, you slid in his DMs. He just didn't slide back.
it was rejected. If you're wondering,
Oh, so not even accepted.
Wow.
Didn't
That's
the
you ask
attempt.
him if he wanted to come on the show?
I mean, apparently it said he's not accepting any DMs at this time, so he's closed off. He doesn't like people sliding in.
That ain't right.
So I listed just the Bears, all your Bears fantasy assets as my Hillshire, and I put them at Hillshire and not S the B because I think some of them are deserving of S the B, but I was kind of proven right that they're Hillshire because of the offensive coordinator being relieved of his duties today. Because that's why I listed him as Hillshire. I was like, okay, if they have so much talent. If they can just get someone to call plays, like, hey, give DJ Moore the ball, like he's valuable, and just like use your assets like you were at the beginning of the year when people were excited about Caleb Williams and DJ Moore and Cole Kmet and Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, like it just goes on and on. So exercising caution, not making a mess to be. I think seeing this, I'm hopeful that maybe next week and the weeks moving forward, they actually figure out how to actually call offensive plays for all this talent and they don't suck so hard. But also, I didn't know this, but Caleb Williams has been sacked like 38 times this year, which is like a rookie record or something like that. So really hard to get the ball downfield to your playmakers if you're being sacked 38 times in 10 games. That's almost 4 sacks a game. That's insane.
I bet
So,
he likes that.
anyways, that's my Hillshire crew. And
I
I'm not one to put a bunch of guys in on a thing, and I did. I put a whole team on there. So
I did
there we go.
see there was a stat about his Caleb Williams stats compared to last year Bryce Young, and it's oddly mirroring. There's some little bit of differences, but they're really really close for the stats, which is scary. But there was a listen to one of the podcasts. There was a interview they brought up about JSN, asked about Shane Waldron, and after he left Seattle, and basically, hey, what do you think about Shane Waldron now moving to the Bears? And JSN's response was, "Are we live? Are we recording this?" And basically ended up with like, "Well, he's a good guy, I guess," and that was all he really had to say about it. So now he's out of a job, so that says enough as it is. So um,
Yeah.
yeah, hopefully brighter days for the Bears.
All right. So let's get extra mad and let's see how full the sleep number shit the bed. The sleep number shit the bed. How full is that bed?
Full.
And stinky.
People are about to, yeah, smells like poop. Yeah, people are about to start falling out of the bed. So we'll just start with, all right, so where are we here? Week 10, right underneath Amber Heard. These are Amber Heard's turds this week. and so my addition is Sam Darnold, the one on the right. And anyway, it's basically because he had a primo opportunity this week. He was playing the Jags, and he should have been like, "Oh yes, yes, yes," but instead he was like,
"Oh no, oh."
And so he, so he just kind of shot the bed in just such a prime opportunity. I started him over the great Russell Wilson in one league, and I had the Jefferson connection, so it stung double. And he just every chance they got into the red zone there, instead of a touchdown, they threw an interception. So fuck you, Sam Darnold. You have entered the bed. And I believe is this his first and second time in the bed? I think it
I
is.
believe so. Yeah. Yeah, he is.
Amazing.
And yeah, I'll just second everything Dr. Dry said. He was also my Shit the Bed Award winner. I think it's time to move on. It was really fun at the beginning. We were all becoming believers, but I think it's time to move on. Let's start your Russell Wilson, start your Jameis Winstons. Just move on from Sam Darnold. Pretend the first beginning of the year never happened. And I think the Vikings probably want to just move on too, because they were like, dude, we don't want to have like a weird quarterback thing. Like, you were here just so we could like get to McCarthy. That's who we want to play. And they're almost like, whew, okay, he sucks. Cool. All right. We can just focus on McCarthy and not have to do this whole Darnold thing. So yeah, Darnold. Yeah, you're done. That was
And
fun.
you brought up a good point there. It's you don't when you're getting this point in the season, you don't want to get attached to something that happened early in the season and say, "Oh, well, he did it before. Why not continue it?" It was just one bad week, and ignore these other guys that are up and coming. Your Russell Wilsons, Bo Nix, these guys that have been consistently putting up good performances um, in great matchups, and look towards those guys instead of someone like Darnold potentially, depending on the matchup. And um, he what he did is he pulled a Derek Carr, but it lasted longer. Derek Carr can only do it for 2 weeks at a time. We're here sitting in week 10 is when he finally crashed. So it happens, but obviously we got to move on. And that is a great segue into Pinky's up for Travis Etienne. He's up because we're bougie. So I've been waiting for this for weeks. I have him in one or two of my leagues. I'm like, there ain't no way he's losing his job to Tank. There's nothing that's gonna happen here. He's fantastic, young, still decent offense, and he's probably deserved this bed multiple weeks. He just hasn't made it because there's been other people who have sucked worse than him on those weeks. So, this past week, 68% of the snaps, RB 43 for the week, 11 attempts, 44 yards, one target for -1 yards. And currently this season, the biggest dagger of all this, he's never finished higher than RB 20 in a week performance, and currently the RB 40 on the year. So it's been rough in the streets for Travis Etienne. So we'll for the sake of my team, I'm not benching him. Well, I am benching him. I'm not playing him until I see at least 2 consecutive good starts, and we're not off onto a good foot with this past week. Sleeper added the new feature, as you've seen with the comments from other users that get the most upvotes and they're highly rated. One guy I was like, I feel this dude, where he says, I would trade Travis Etienne for a jar of dirt. I'm like, right there with you, man. I would do that too. So, for all those reasons and multiple weeks that he should have been here, Travis Etienne, you're in the bed.
Poor little guy.
That's right. Poor little guy.
I don't. He deserves it at this point.
Oh, you don't even have any like.
Dang.
Very no
sympathy.
sympathy this week. I've been holding on to this.
You're so
Dang.
brutal. Okay, so where are we going? Let's get happy. Ooh, I'm excited. I love this new graphic. I love the new graphic here.
Who you
I don't
gonna
know why.
call on? These guys.
It just makes me happy when I see that, Ronald. So the 11th McNugget Award. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
McDonald.
McDonald.
So these are the guys who surprised you this week. For me, it's Calvin Ridley. It was an unpleasant surprise. He went off on my bench because I just haven't been trusting him. But when I look back, I was like, damn it, maybe I should trust him a little. Now that there's no D Hop, he's gone off with both Levis and Rudolph playing. And when you look back on his past, I think it's like 4 or 5 weeks, he's gone off at like over half of those weeks, like for 20 plus. So it seems like without D Hop, this is the Titans' best option. So, anyways, go start him and get pissed off at me for it, but because I'll probably do it and get pissed at myself. But
Incoming 4 points next week.
yeah, but it is surprising to see that, especially out of the Titans' offense that just generally sucks. He's been super inconsistent, but he has had a window of consistency. That window might be closing at any moment, so maybe you squeeze out one or two more before it's completely shut.
My McNug this week is Mark Andrews. About time you break out. I've only picked you up in 1 or 2 leagues, and you wait till now to do anything. So kudos to you. Tight end 2 for the week. I think it was almost everyone in that game though. For wide receivers, tight ends went off. So unless your name was T Higgins and you're injured, 87. Look what he missed out on though. He could have had himself a big week, and yet, or is it just that he's like so selfless that he's like, you know what, Chase? I want you to have this week. You have yourself a big game.
I fell down and scuffed my muff. My name's T. Higgins.
So Andrews tight end 2 on the week this past week. 87% of the snaps, 7 targets, 6 receptions, and 68 yards, and the 1 important touchdown. So really productive week. Hoping that keeps moving for the rest of the season. I might be able to throw him in my lineup. Good to see what you expected out of him from the slow start to the season that he did have. So just keep it up.
Very goodly. Yeah, the was he in your starting lineup?
Absolutely not. Why would he?
Neither was this next guy. So George
all 3 of these guys didn't get started.
Yeah. And I had Calvin Ridley in one of my other leagues, and like he was a guy that was starting at the beginning of the year, and then I was like, and then Mason Rudolph came to town. I keep missing his blow up game though. Like the blow up game will happen, but he's on my bench, and then I start him when he shits the bed. He's been on every list, by the way, Calvin Ridley. But yeah, my guy is George Pickens, sexy George. And I like the direction all this is going. Like he won't be on my bench this next week. We'll see what he does. But Russell Wilson's cooking, and George Pickens is his sous chef. So they're both in the kitchen whipping that work and putting defenses in a blender. So let George Pickens cook. Who are you going to call for those fantasy points? These 3 guys. They may or may not be in your starting lineup, but that's the true definition of the 11th McNugget Award. It's a good surprise. Doesn't mean you benefited from it, though. Let that be a lesson to all.
I will say it's been with the Steelers. They haven't played a divisional game yet this season, which I was really shocked by.
What the
So
fuck?
it's their first ones this week against the Ravens, so that'll be very interesting. And this is just like this last week with the Ravens and Bengals. Everyone went off that game. I don't see everyone going off with Steelers defense being as good as they are, but this could be a great game for George Pickens this week. So I say that now, and he's going to absolutely suck. So do with that what you will. Yeah.
Okay. So time to brag about our boys. So who are sexy men from Weights for Men flexing this
What's
week?
that?
Oh, all right. There's a theme in the skin tone this week. So sometimes we'll get a white guy in there, but not this week.
Yeah.
So
We try to do different races, but this week it didn't work out.
all right. Who is y'all's flex of the week?
Scary Terry McLaurin off on the right side. He was one of my God Squad members to start the season, and he's living up to the hype. So, Scary Terry, love you, man. I've got him in my Superflex league, and I'm doing pretty well in that league. So happy about that. And I've got him starting. I've also got Nico coming back in that league. So really pleased about that. Wide receiver 15 this week. 89% of the snaps, 6 targets, 5 receptions for 113 yards without a touchdown. But currently the wide receiver 7 and PPR formats and the wide receiver 5.5 PPR. So love those numbers. They haven't had their bye week yet, so those rankings will change for the season. But love to see it. This is definitely the surprise team of the season. Like a feel good story, if you will, kind of like what the Texans were last season. You like to see it. This is the Terry McLaurin we all knew and could be, and he's finally found himself a stable situation there in Washington. So, with everyone that's around him, so love to see it. Terry, flex that muscle for me.
Oh.
All right, Doc. Who's your boy?
Have you guys ever heard of Jamar Chase?
Who's that?
Well, he was live on stage Thursday night, and the reason why he's a very obvious choice here, but he's someone that if you drafted him in regular season, you got him late first because you were worried about that holdout situation. Well, you can hold these nuts if you didn't take him because look at him now. He's on the Weights for Men flex of the week. What he put up like 55.4. I think he broke a couple of like league records that have been standing for a couple of years in some of mine. Just crazy. Like the closest person to him was less than 100 yards from him. So, I haven't met a single person who had him and lost. I came close in one league, um, but yeah, you suck if you had Jamar Chase and you still lost. So anyway, he won people leagues single handedly. If you had the Chase Burrow stack, you won with those two players probably. So just putting the team on his back, and I guess that's doctor's orders.
I had the one year I won my main league was Chase's rookie season. I had him in the championship, and he went off for 50 some points that game too. It's a fantastic feeling, especially in the championship game. But rightfully put here, and hopefully he can get a couple more this season. Unless you're playing against him, then best of luck.
He's got a great situation. They're not winning, so like they're still fighting for playoffs though. So they're like the best non-playoff team, and so they're hungry. They're wanting to put up stats. Most of the time he's going to go off. Very dependable. Highly recommend.
Is the guy in the middle? Does he have 2 shoulders on each side?
He's strong.
Or is that?
That's what the weight room will do to you. I know you've been out of the weight room for a while, Pete. So
Yeah, we'll be back in there soon.
Too soon.
And quads on the bike are ripping though.
So I got Jalen Hurts, and Jalen Hurts owners we're kind of sad to start the year. The Eagles were really struggling, but I think they figured something out. He's getting those goal line carries again. He's getting like 2 rushing touchdowns a game for the past like 3 or 4 games or something like that. So Everyone was worried about Saquon at the beginning of the year. There were some legit worries. But yeah, Hurts he's just back to his old ways, and they still have Saquon. So it's not like it's, you know, someone got hurt and he's like having to take over goal line duties. Like he's still getting those rushing touchdowns. And then, yeah, and he's getting it to the stars. Like he's getting it to, like AJ Brown got to go off this week. So he's not throwing it to, who was that? Who was that former Titan, former Falcon that played for the Eagles for like 5 minutes?
You talk about Julio?
Julio
Yeah,
Jones?
Yeah. He's not throwing it to the likes of Julio. He's getting it to the stars.
That scrub.
How quickly we forget.
Julio
Fantasy legend.
Butthole Jones.
That's what happens when you like don't go out on top. Like if you just go out on top, go out at the best of your game, no one will ever forget who you are. But if you have like
Yeah.
4 weird years where you play for like 9 teams, people are gonna forget about you. Like if D Hop doesn't win a Super Bowl with KC, we're gonna forget about him because he played for like 100 teams at the end of his career. Like, just don't do it. Like, either stay with the team and
Get your
be
stats.
good, or quit. Just that's your options. Just stop it. Understand. So, anyways, I don't know how we got there, but Jalen Hurts, good job. Keep it up. If his ass was in front of me, I would slap it and I'd say, "Get in there." That's what I would do. So,
A little slap ass.
just playing a little slap ass. So, okay, waiver pickups. Who are those waiver folks that we're side eyeing, eyeballing, front eyeing? Who are you looking at?
I've got a couple generic uh, targets this week for waivers. Um, Russell Wilson and Bo Nix mentioned them earlier this stream. Those are guys that are probably out there on your waivers. If they're not, pivot to a different quarterback that may be out there unless you're in a deeper super flex league. But once again, these guys have been getting done here as of late, and Bo Nix isn't the pick that you think is performing, but take a look at his stat lines, and he's getting some stuff done here recently, not as much in the beginning of the season, but take a look at those guys if they're out there, and we're starting to get to handcuff season for running backs. We all know what happens with CMC when he plays, he gets injured. So look at your backup guys. Obviously, we got Jordan Mason still out there, but he's not doing anything. So if you have those extra spaces on your bench, hold these guys up. So Trey Benson, probably out there. Cardinals backing up James Conner, who has never played a full season without being injured. So if he does complete the season, kudos to him. But Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Rams backing up Kyron Williams, who's getting a ton of work out there. So you'd expect something to happen where they start transitioning a little bit. So Blake Corum also, Jalen Warren probably taken in many leagues, but if he is out there, he's still come back from the injury, looking a little bit better. Had that Najee injury scare this past week, but if any of these guys I just mentioned, if they're number one on the team got injured, these guys are being thrust in that number one role with quite a good workload. So Trey Benson, Blake Corum, Jalen Warren, if they're out there, take a look and see from there if you got the room.
I have a couple of guys. I picked. And it's probably just a random blow up game, but you never know. But Marquez Valdez Scantling. Just because there's like nobody in New Orleans. Like I picked up this guy Marcus Tipton as like I don't know, on Sunday mornings I'll see who's out, throw them on my IR, and then pick up a random person as a flyer. You never know. I'm not depending on this person. That'll be the first person I drop the next week. But anyway, Marcus Tipton wasn't even him. He wasn't even her. I didn't even see his ass on the field. So Marquez Valdez Scantling, MVS, maybe someone to pick up if you're really hurting at receiver and want a shot at the Saints' number one guy. He might be kind of like a Rashid Shaheed type. We've seen it before, but we've also seen him disappear. So could be fool's gold. No one I'm feeling great about. Let's see, Audric Estime, if you're into that sort of thing, you're more into the situation than the talent, I think. Just because Javonte Williams probably lost his job for no reason. And he only had like one carry, and they've forgotten about Jaleel McLaughlin as well. So Audric Estime could be an ad there, especially this late in the season. That's something to pay attention to. Why would they make a switch this late? They are in the playoff hunt. Maybe he's their guy moving forward, and you have a starting running back if you pick him up. And then Dawson Knox, I think, is a solid ad at tight end because we saw Dalton Kincaid get hurt, which he's a tight end 1, like tight end 10 or 11 or something, but he's really not doing anything. So, but Dawson Knox is a possibility there. And then if you like to stream defenses like I do, a couple of good options, but they may or may not be available. I always target the Titans and the Panthers, whoever's playing against them, really. Panthers are on a bye, and they're getting a little bit better, too, so they might not be much of a target anymore, but the Titans suck. So pick up the Vikings defense. They're also like the number 1 defense. They're pretty high ranked. They got the Gink. They got Mr. Van Ginkel, Rip Van Ginkel, as I like to call him. And then we got the Texans defense going against the Cowboys. So I target the Cowboys now that Dak's gone, and because they just look like a complete shit show. So make sure you're targeting Titans and Cowboys. And all our Titans fans out there, we're trying to lose anyway. You might as well capitalize off of it and get some fantasy points. And that's doctor's orders.
I just want you to know Trey Lance takes offense to what you just said.
That's okay. What has he done? We've thrown for the same amount of yards this year.
I don't. What is up with the whole? This is why Jerry Jones ended up in. I can't remember. I gave him some award. The little strawberry hard wrap candy that for a Halloween episode because he's delusional and no one knows what's going on in Dallas. So it's a little segue on that one.
Superfan Matt is in the house, by the way.
All right.
He's tuning in a little bit. We will read your comments live on stage for the 3 of you listening. So, we got nothing better to do. So, Superfan Matt with the nice to see Laporta involved a bit last week finally. So that's great. Good to see that. Hopefully he didn't go off on your bench like a lot of people who have given up on him. But P-Paul, you're our resident Detroit Lions fan. What do you think?
It doesn't help that he got injured also. So we'll see what happens. We just got JMO back, so see if he gets any more involved now that he's back, and see if that balances out with Laporta and him. This next week against Jacksonville, you would assume they're going to get out to a lead and keep these running backs involved and just keep the clock moving. So it's just a weird dynamic for fantasy purposes on that team. It's good. Yes, it's good to see him involved. Not as good as last season, but good to see him get more back into it, kind of similar to what Andrews is doing in Baltimore compared to the early part of the season.
And another team, the Detroit Degenerates really got the S to B award. That's Superfan Matt dynasty team. Super duper talented, lose a lot of games this year. And I actually have moved into that 6th spot. So he's moved down to 7th, I think. And so they definitely S the B. But if you want, because I think he was a little late, so week 10 S the B members right underneath Amber Heard. They're Amber Heard's cards this week. We got Sam Darnold, Travis Etienne, and then Sam Darnold again. So so that's who really shit the bed if you needed an update.
I have a couple Chargers. Gus Bus, if he's out there, he led the team in rushing, and then also Will Dissly, who doesn't play for Seattle. He plays for the Chargers. So,
oh man, I didn't know
that. He had more, which Hayden Hurst is coming back from injury, but maybe Will Dissly may have took his jab while he was out on injury. So, and then Cam Akers, if Aaron Jones gets hurt, who he left the game a little bit, but I think he's not going to miss any time. But if he got hurt, everyone hates having Cam Akers on their team, but he's kind of like Kareem Hunt. Like if he's the only option, they'll just keep giving him the ball, and he'll end up in the end zone at some point. So you just go with it. So if Aaron Jones misses any time with that rib injury, I think, then Cam Akers, he's definitely out there as a start. But you're not happy about it. But you're just doing what you can these days.
He's not the sexy pick.
No, he's not.
But he gets the job
done. But if you're into sexy time and you don't use protection, something can happen, and you're going to need a plan for it. So we have a new sponsor, a new commercial. Play that shit.
Hey folks, I'm here to tell you about Bobby's Birthing Plans. That's right, Bobby's Birthing Plans. Having a baby ain't easy, and at Bobby's, we make it easy. It's hard. What music to listen to? What are you going to do with the placenta? Who's going to bite the umbilical cord? At Bobby's Birthing Plans, we figure all that out for you, so you can just show up, spit out a baby, and go home. Come on down to Bobby's Birthing Plans, pick yourself up a handful of Chex Mix, and have a nice day.
All right. Thanks, Bobo.
Thanks, Bobo.
And I know Bobby didn't give out the location of Bobby's Birthing Plans, but if you're looking to find it, it's actually located at the back of Mackle's Pizza. So you can come into the back door, just knock a few times and they'll let you in, or you can go in the front and walk right past the oven, and Bobby's in the back and he's ready to help you and your soon-to-be family come up with a birthing plan.
In a sterile environment, kind of. So, and also, if you're looking to save a few bucks, and you're having a baby, it's about 20% of what you would pay at the hospital. They don't take insurance, but a great option if you need it. So go to Bobby's Birthing Plans today. Have yourself a baby.
If you also need cash and you're sitting at home watching the game, where should you place your bets at?
Oh,
well, that's whenever you get on the Google machine, you search Underdog, you sign up for an account, but don't just sign up for an account. Make sure that you use code 5th Quarter Fantasy, and Underdog will match that deposit up to $100. Not $99, $100. That's the max that you can do. If you do 101, you'll get $100. That's the most that they'll give out. So, and we get $25 referral fee. So we really want you to do it so that we can start placing some bets and start getting to this cash.
We need it desperately. So, Week 11 preview. Oh, wait, we have a comment from Superfan Matt. What he's upset, Darnold threw to JJ for only 48 yards. Where's the front butt? I don't know what WTF means, but
this is why he ended up in the Hillshire Farm bucket list for Jefferson this past week because of that.
Yeah. So I think that's
rough week.
That's Superfan Matt is submitting his submission for his S to B. So Darnold's in there 3 times.
Sam Darnold's on there thrice.
So Week 11 preview, we got 4 matchups to go over. Our first one is the Thursday night matchup. Man, Thursday night has been putting out good games. What is going on Thursday?
This is a banger. Yeah.
Geez. So Commanders and Eagles should be a good showing, I think. Thursday night has just been magic because we had Kirk go off for his big touchdowns on a Thursday.
The Kirk and Baker game.
Yep.
And then we had Cincy and Baltimore for the big blow up. And we got this. Thursday used to be the shit show. You used to tune in on Thursdays to find out what the color rush jersey was going to be. And that was like the only thing to look forward to. And now there's real football to look forward to. So what do y'all look forward to? Who do you anticipate having a good day in this matchup?
I miss the Blake Bortles versus Marcus Mariota, Smurf versus Baby Fitz game. because that's what it all looked like. But yeah, I miss the color rush jerseys. I really like the Rams color rush jerseys, those like all yellow. I don't know, something about it. I really love the Seahawks. Those are like all time, that lime green. There were some good ones out there. So I like the Bills all red.
Yes.
Yeah, that one was cute. I like the Titans one. I thought those were cool.
Yeah.
But honestly, so every week, confession time, I don't even look at any of the matchups. So I just live react, and so I've done no research, but I know my stuff somewhat. So I'm hoping for your usual suspects here. Scary Terry, he's someone that you got to put up there with AJ Brown nowadays. He's proven it. He's on that. He's on Peepaw's God Squad, rightfully so. He's proving him right. And Jaden Daniels has really brought some life into this franchise. So I like what they're doing over there. Even Austin Eckler's getting a little love with what's his name? Gunshot victim, Brian.
Brian
Yeah.
Thomas, or not Brian?
Brian.
Brian Robinson.
That's it. Yeah, Brian Robinson. Bang bang. So yeah, him being out, not due to a gunshot wound, but something else. Austin Eckler's even getting some love. My ball Zach Ertz is even doing pretty good in spot starts. He's kind of like my go-to. Like, oh shoot, I don't have a backup tight end. My tight end's on bye. Oh, Zach Ertz is there. I'll just go pick him up. So that's been working out great. Um, but yeah, I mean, and then you got the Eagles. You know kind of what to expect there. I fully expect a Saquon bounce back game here. Um, and then like your usual people, donkey teeth. I think got in the end zone last week,
Yep.
so we could get some donkey teeth action if we're lucky. And that Eagles defense is starting to come along too, but kind of a rough draw with the Commanders. I'm hoping it's a piggy bank game, but I don't know if I'll call it a piggy bank game or not. But it's up there.
The reason the Eagles defense have been coming to it because of Middle Tennessee State's own Blankenship
Yeah.
playing out there representing. Gotta love that. Really, I don't know who you wouldn't be excited to play in this game. Really, it should be on paper as an offensive showdown. Up to the defense to hold it, and the Eagles D line. I mean, they've been able to get some sacks here recently, and Jaden Daniels is one of those quarterbacks that's able to get outside the pocket and rush for some yards too. So, very similar on both sides of the ball with offenses, and um, able to move the ball, wide receivers, tight ends, quarterbacks, running backs. So, um, not a single one. I'm kind of shocked the over under is only 48.5. I would have expected to be probably 3 to 4 points higher. Um, but should be a great game. Once again, Thursday night coming out with bangers.
You know what? Put it on there.
We're calling it.
It's a piggy bank game.
Touchdown.
Yeah, I think I had to hear it explained by Peepaw to officially put it.
I wish I had some numbers for you, but I don't. It's just a touchdown game.
The spread is 3.5.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, for the home team, getting that 3 points off the bat, so pretty close shootout.
So
Touchdown.
our next game is a Sunday afternoon game. Probably going to be the most watched game because these two teams tend to put on a show. Chiefs narrowly escaped losing, weird NFL script, some people would say, randomly getting a blocked kick randomly like that. But anyways, I love the NFL is scripted YouTube videos. Those are so much fun to watch. Like they just make you think everything's it's all scripted. But yeah, so Chiefs and Bills. This is going to be the exciting one of the week that everyone's tuning into. Fantasy wise, it can be difficult with the Bills if Kincaid is out. If Keon Coleman is still struggling, the Bills can be difficult to predict outside of Josh Allen and James Cook. And then on the Chiefs side, I feel like they're rounding out D-Hop, showing some consistency now. It's not just a single game thing. So this could be something that those D Hop owners are really happy about. And well, maybe one of y'all know this. Is Pacheco playing this week, or is
I
he just practicing this week?
I would expect him to practice. I would not expect him to play with that kind of an injury. It's not a hammy, so I feel like if it was a hammy, maybe start. But with that serious of injuries he had and how long he was out at, I think it's a long stretch that he plays this week. But um, you also got to think about Khalil Shakir on the Bills. Fantastic wideout. Depends also if Mark Cooper's healthy enough to play in that game or not. But I like that's in Buffalo. I was thinking about this past weekend watching the Chiefs and Broncos. I would like to know generally from any Chiefs fan, do they know like what's the consensus about the team? Or do you think they're a legit good team? I I don't their record doesn't say 9-0 based on the way they look. And they should probably have a couple losses. We have the refs in the bed for helping out the Chiefs a couple weeks. Um, lucked into a couple of these, but sometimes all it takes. And I think Joshua Allen's going to put on a clinic, and love to see what he can do out there on the field. And James Cook run that ball, and hopefully the Chiefs can't keep up and Bills get a W.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I mean, it's the Chiefs are starting to become the Patriots of the NFL. They're the new era Patriots where, if you're not with them, like you're a fan of those other, all those other teams, you're against them. So, pretty much any game you're cheering against the Chiefs. So, um, so yeah, I mean, Bills. It's and it's weird. Like I do think Josh Allen gets his points. I have no clue who else is getting points because he throws to like the fifth string tight end. I've seen some very weird, sick of this randos getting touchdowns, and I'm hoping he just starts leaning up more on Khalil hips don't lie secure, and he starts salsaing in the end zone like Victor Cruz, one of Vinny's favorite all time receivers.
Hey.
Yeah, shout out to Victor Cruz, fan of the show, and best friend of ours too, roommate even. And so we're very close with Victor Cruz, and we just keep getting closer by the second. Um, but so anyway, Chiefs, I do like seeing the consistency from D Hop. I think that's awesome. As a D Hop owner in a league where it's a dynasty league and I don't have any old dudes, but I randomly picked up D Hop and now he's starting because I can't trust Brian Thomas anymore. So so yeah, I mean it's I don't know. I can also see this being a severely let down defensive field goal fest. So it's I don't know what to expect here. I don't think it's a piggy bank game. I do think Josh Allen gets his one way or the other, though.
Who's your running back for Dallas on that your signed autograph card that you got hand done by uh, what's his name? Your mega
Oh,
fan.
Tashard Choice.
Oh, the goat.
Tashard Choice or uh, Victor Cruz. If you had to
Oh,
pick a favorite.
I mean, Tashard Choice never ever came through for me in fantasy. I don't even know if I ever. I don't even know if I ever dared to put him on my team. So Victor Cruz may have like got me like into the fantasy playoffs at one point. So um, I think I loved Victor Cruz so much because I got him on waivers, and the league we were in at this time there was no waiver wire. So if you were just watching on Sunday and you liked a guy, you got him right then and there.
It was an
we
award system for sure.
we had such a free for all. Like we would like if you had to work on a Sunday, you just got effed. Like no
Yeah.
waivers for you that week.
I remember we worked at Fox's Pizza. We delivered and you were the Sunday guy. And if it was ever like, hey Kevin, you want to switch Saturday and Sunday shifts? Like No, I'm not getting fucked on waivers by like having to work or anything. So during fantasy football season, forget it. We're not switching shifts because I don't want to miss out.
And I think I only got Victor Cruz because I watched him play on a Monday night game and thought this guy's pretty good. I'm going to pick him up right now. And yeah, and then he ended up being a really good like fantasy player for like that season. Maybe one more, but that was about it for Victor Cruz.
I think I worked Monday nights at Fox's, so I didn't get a chance to add him. Man, we've pinpointed where you picked Victor Cruz up at.
Yeah. There's no way I wouldn't have got him on a Sunday. Like I was driving around the city, So
Bikini Bike Wash Sunday at the MT bottle.
Oh God. Oh,
Come
people,
get your car washed.
This was not.
Yeah.
When you hear the word Bikini Bike Wash Sunday, you're thinking, "All right, count me in." But this was like it was basically that lady
with
because
leather.
it was like a biker bar, and it was like these old bikers' wives, and they were out there bike wash and just leathery, just wrinkled. It wasn't good. It wasn't what you wanted. I mean, they probably washed a good bike though, to be honest. Like the attractive women would do a worse job. These old ladies, they were just like, yeah, I'm literally waxing this bike right now. I was like, okay, cool. So
They saw a Karate Kid. They know how to do it.
So our third matchup is another great one. A lot of good ones, a lot of fun ones this week. Ravens and Steelers. This is your noonday kickoff Sunday. So this, according to Peeps, we didn't know this. This is the Steelers' first divisional matchup this year, and so I think Dr. Dry is real high on his Steelers. He's been talking about them all weekend. He wants all his Steelers playing. I'll say, from my perspective, watch Najee and Warren. Warren's starting to get more carries. They might be doing a little transition, and maybe Najee's starting to slow down. So the Jalen Warren owners, be on alert. Might be time to start working them in, and especially if Najee goes down, I think we got a league winner in Jalen Warren.
The Matt asked a question here is who do we think is going to win this game? That's a very good question. I think this is when we'll start to see how, I don't want to say how good the Steelers are, because the secondary for the Ravens has not been stellar whatsoever. So it's got the potential to be a piggyback game or a pig bank game on this one. So with defense or the secondary for the Ravens, but the Steelers' offensive or defensive line rather is pretty stout. I know Highsmith just had an injury this past weekend, so see if he's out there or not. But in Pittsburgh, I do think it's gonna be the Ravens in this one, just due to overall talent. But should be a fun matchup to watch. I'm guessing you'd be starting all your Ravens. Would you be starting Zay Flowers and Mark Andrews, unless you had some other options, or what would you guys be doing in that for the Ravens?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm playing.
Yeah, I'm benching Derrick Henry.
Like,
he's a bum.
Like,
that was a given. That's why I didn't mention him.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're starting Lamar, number one quarterback on the year, so Russ, once again, getting it done. Prime opportunity, just like Burrow had last week, to score some massive points in Pickens. So excited to see what happens with this game. The one thing I do hate, you don't know which tight end for the Steelers is going to get anything. I know Vinny loves himself some Frymuth exposing at times. So I hate to see those touchdowns be taken away with another dude, but that's one thing I hate about tight end position. You just never know who's going to get. Just like the Dolphins game last night, who would have saw that rushing touchdown come from that Washington or whatever his last name is. So excited to see this game play out, though. Definitely probably the best game of the after or morning slate, if you will.
Yeah, and so Matt will be at the game. That's important. Thinking about his fantasy team, he's going to be benching Flowers. I have a fun story. Back when the Titans were really, really bad, I think it was like the CJ2K year, and I went to like 6 Titans games that year. It just kind of kept happening, and because I didn't have to deliver on Sundays, that was Vinny's job, and 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 I went to all these Titans games, and I remember going with our buddy Dustin, um, and he's a big Titans fan. We had like 10th, like 7th row seats or something in the end zone, and the Titans were terrible, and they were playing the Bears, and they had Brandon Marshall, and I got this has nothing to do with me benching anybody, but and this is back whenever I cared about the Titans, and he scored 3 touchdowns that day, and I was against him in fantasy, and all of the touchdowns happened right in front of me. And like he's like celebrating in my face, and I'm like, dude, like you don't know how personal this is right now. Um, so Brandon Marshall with like the literal like you and your fantasy team directly to me. Um, so anyway, yeah, if Flowers starts scoring, it's gonna feel very personal, Matt. So hopefully you're not 7 rows away in the end zone and all that. So just be prepared for something like that because it is a piggy bank game. And the reason why it's a piggy bank game, I think, is because the Ravens secondary is so ass. Like it's so bad. We saw what Jamar Chase did to him. If George Pickens can put up half of that, like 130 and 1.5 touchdowns, like that's awesome. So so basically that their secondary is so bad. I don't know if it's going to be a big Chris Boswell bounce back game or not. Since I know that's what we're all worried about, but I'm still firing up Boswell, still firing up the Boz God, see what happens there. And I'll say it right. Russell Wilson's going to throw for 8 touchdowns this weekend.
He's just putting it out there.
That's the doctor's order.
Most definitely. So our last matchup is Seahawks and Niners. This is Sunday afternoon kickoff. Both these teams need it. They need one, just like Kevin does sometimes. And so they need this game. They're both trying to figure out if they're good or not. Seahawks coming off the bye. Niners getting McCaffrey back last week, who got all of his usage. I think he seeded one run to
Jordan
somebody
Mason.
that wasn't him. Yeah, Jordan Mason. So so it's nice to see that. So I wonder, is San Francisco going to start clicking and they're going to turn this 5-4 quickly into like a 10-4? We're not even just in the blink of an eye, or will their kind of clunky weirdness continue? I love seeing Jawan Jennings becoming a permanent fixture. Ricky Pearsall getting his first NFL touchdown. So I'm thinking the Niners are going to start rolling here soon, which might be good for them because they've always come out the gate, win like 12 straight, and then lose in the playoffs. And maybe a little fight all year long is good for them. So they get in the playoffs and actually do something, because this is it. Like, this is their window. Their Super Bowl window is closed after this year. It's just, there's no more. I mean, they locked up Brandon Ayuk, but Debo's not going to be any good. Kittle's only getting older. McCaffrey's he's missed half the season this year. So I think they're going to play really hard and try to like push for the end of the year. So
Who is the guy that they locked up?
Oh yeah, what did we call him? What was the candy I called him? Oh, he was a payday. That's right. Yeah, so Mr. Ayuk, he's the payday candy bar, and yeah, he's currently at his house with a leg and an air cast.
And a paycheck in his hand.
Yeah, counting his money.
I do think the 49ers spread in this game is purely. You still gotta sniff it too. There you go. I think the 49ers spread in this game is solely due to. I heard he got something just like that too. Uh, due to the McCaffrey comeback and his usage this past week, there was some beat writer in San Francisco that said he was going to get 20 snaps or something like that, and that went out the window pretty quick. So full usage is back, barring any injury. He garners so much attention on that from the defense that it opens up everyone else for bigger plays. So love to see him back for the offense. Brock Purdy, God Squad member earlier this season for me. I think this is when he starts shining for the remainder of the season. You're starting to click again now that you got your guy that you locked up injured, can't play, so you get that out of here. Take the trash to the curb. All your other good guys can start playing again. Juwan Jennings looking like a stud out there. Once again, won't be the sexy guy on your roster, but he will be a difference maker. So love to see that. Not sure. Do we know what his status is for this game?
He's got to be back, right?
I would imagine he's back, which that should make it a more competitive game too. So I'd like to see.
Yeah.
We'd love to see competitive games. So I do think 49ers probably easily handle this, but obviously that's why I watch and why I play. So we'll see.
Yeah, yeah, Juwan Jennings. I mean, we were telling people to, hey, pick him back up. He assumed that wide receiver 2 role. Juwan Jennings out of Black Man High School of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, represent. Actually, they're a rival. So anyway, yeah, we went to Riverdale and Siegel. We don't care about black men. But he is a successful black man in the NFL, so we got that going for him. With red hair. So that's good too. But yeah, Ricky Pearsall, another successful black man in the NFL.
They also got shot.
Yeah, that got shot. He's got some soul, man. I don't know. I like him. I like his style. He's smooth. He might be a neat waiver wire ad as well. So definitely, look Ricky Pearsall's way. You never know with, Debo will get hurt again, I'm sure. So, let's predict that right off the bat. Excited to see CMC back. Did he get in the end zone at least this last week?
I don't
No,
think so.
no. But I think he had over 100 yards in combined.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's the way. Always good for fantasy when he's back. Honestly, Jordan Mason was starting to suck. Like I was like, please, CMC, just come back so I can stop starting. I don't even own CMC, but like, I'm like, just so I can stop like getting Jordan Mason out there and him getting his 8 points because he was kind of asked the last like 5 weeks of him starting. So he had a hot start. I know I put him on the waiver wire. Nobody bit. So good to have CMC back. I think the Niners roll in this one. I see them, taking it to the Seahawks. We also just haven't seen the Seahawks in a week, so who knows what we're gonna get. They've been very Jekyll Hyde. So DK hopefully gets his, and they usually have a pretty good game. I won't call it a piggy bank game, but it should be a good game.
There you have it. That's your Week 11 preview. That was your Week 10 recap. Awards were given out. A new advertiser was unveiled. We had a lot going on this week. So good luck as you push toward the fantasy playoffs. We're closing in a couple more weeks of fighting it out, and then you'll be in playoff mode officially. So don't forget to tell everyone you know about the podcast because we're great and we're worth a listen. And we read comments on air. You just say it, we'll read it. So that's pretty cool. You want to be recognized by us. We're kind of like first tier popularity guys. So
Kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
We're
just a
we're in
little.
we're in young life.
Yeah, like it's important. So, did they have Young Life in Michigan? Is that a thing in Michigan?
I don't know if I recall that ever being a thing. Then again, I'm not the best Catholic in the world, so take that for what it's worth.
Okay, maybe that's a
Oh,
southern.
these kids, these were the popular first tier kids, always being voted homecoming king, homecoming queen. Get fucked up on the weekends, but also go to Young Life. And yeah, the best at partying. But yeah, Young Life was like, I don't know, you weren't shit if you weren't in Young Life for sure. Like you had multiple the North Face jackets. You came from money. Now you wear Patagonia or whatever, and yeah, so that's Young Life for you. But yeah, I wasn't rich enough to be in there.
We actually do have a couple up in Michigan. The Southeast Michigan Young Life has on Facebook over 1,000 followers and 2 5-star reviews. So take that for what it's worth.
Wow, and that many North Face jackets per follower. So,
Yeah.
so there you
You're
go.
gonna need them North Face jackets up there, and it's almost winter time.
It's important. All right, peeps, take us out. What are our 5 things?
Don't forget, we're going to live, laugh, love, like, and subscribe to the Fifth Quarter Fantasy Team.
I'm Boots.
Whoa!
Abort mission.
I was
Did
just
the
gonna
song go back on or no?